Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So, questions been asked for me, so I've done my best to answer this one. And we've got a user that wants variable steps for the endpoint for the throttle. Much like you get on quite a few controllers where you've got, say, 25, 50, 75 or 100% throttle. And they were just wondering if there's a really easy way to do that on this and what's the best way to set it up. So I can bring you in for a close-up look. I'll take you through a few options and then you can decide for yourself which is the best, which will suit you for the need you want. So let's bring you in for a close-up look and see what we can find out. So these are the types of videos what I like doing, requests and trying to help you guys out. So basically, if we hop into our assignment menu, what we're going to be looking for is to assign something that can control the endpoint of the throttle. So if we look at the K series switches, basically the only real option we've got here to give us some variation is the beginner mode, which we can select that, put it on K1, and then we can turn beginner mode off. So we'll have 100% throttle and brake. We can turn it on, so we've got, say, 50%, but there's not really anything in between. And if we go into the menu and we go on to configure it, we can take the restriction off the steering. So if we've got it on, we've still got 100% steering. If we've got it off, we've got 100% throttle and brake. Really, I don't like the way this affects the brake as well, because if you've only got 50% throttle but then only 50% brake, you're not going to stop very well. Also, if you do leave the steering on, you've then only got 50% steering and 50% throttle and brake. It's not going to be a great experience driving an RC this way. So for me, the beginner mode, I find it's got very limited use at best. So if we go back to his assignment, let's get rid of that. There's not really anything else other than set up extremely complex mixers, and then you're going to use another channel and you're going to have your throttle running on, say, channel 3. So you're using your throttle as your master and then varying the amount that it mixes to get the endpoint. It's not a great way of doing it. It's a very cluttered way of achieving what we're trying to. If we look at switches, unfortunately on them, no matter which one you go for, we've only got these same options. So we could have beginner mode, or we could set up some really complex mixing, and you'd need at least 4 of them, because you'd have to have one at 100%, one at 75, one at 50, one at 25. You're going to need at least 4 mixers. Not really ideal, but if we come off that and then we go back into assignment, if we start looking at VRs, we get to the point where we've got some more usable features. So on this, we've got forward rate. So if we turn that on, then you can see we can back this down. So if you wanted a very granular and very controllable way of adjusting the endpoint just on forward, you're still getting 100% brake. It's not affecting your steering at all. It's just backing the throttle down. So we can do that. You've got fully variable, but it is quite slow to move it. If you want something you can switch instantly, probably not ideal, but it is very granular. Then if we come back into here and we go to our VR1, let's take it off that and we can put it on VR2. So we can have forward rate on this, and I would set it to reverse, but now on the dial we can swap it, and you can see you can quickly change to different rates on fly. The 50%, 100% and 0 is quite easy to hit. Twitching around trying to get 20 odd percent and 70 odd percent, it's not impossible, but it's going to be hard to do accurately, quickly. But the 50, the 100, the 0, and it is fully controllable to an extent. but that's also another option. So if we come in and then we go back to these, and then we'll take it off that. Now for me, what I find is the most useful, if we come into the TR functions and then go down to TR4, which is the rocker just above basically where your thumb's going to sit. So if we go to here and then we go to forward rate, and then we set this to normal direction but change it to 25. Now what you've got is a very quick to hit and change. So you can go all the way down to 0. You've got 25, 50, 75, 100. And it's very easy to hit the one you want every single time. It's just going to go up and down one at a time. If you're all the way down at 25 and you just press and hold it, it'll just jump all the way up. But if you just tap it once, you're going to hit the 25, 50, 75, 100 or 0, whatever you're going for every time. Doesn't affect the reverse. You still got 100% reverse, 100% steering, but it's just a very quick way of switching and giving you a way of controlling your full power, basically your wide open throttle. So I find that would probably be a really good one to use if you didn't want to use this rocker. So if we come off that and we go on to say TR3, so we can come on here, we can turn that to forward rate, and then again come in, change this to 25. Always forget which ones these TRs they are, because one's in middle. I think it's 1, 2, 3. But yeah, you can see you've now got the option of very quickly changing your endpoint. You can go all the way down to 0, but changing it between the 25, 50 and 100, really quick and easy. Just depends if you'd rather have it here or on the actual just above where your grip is, if you'd rather have it on that. But any of the TRs are able to do that. Unfortunately, none of the K switches or the switches have the ability to be assigned in the granular steps that we need, or have the forward rate function assigned to them. But you can use VR1 or VR2, that would work. You can always use any of the TRs, whichever would suit you better. You don't have to have 25%, you could have 33 if you wanted, so you'd have 100, 66% and then 33%, and then it'd go down to 1 or 2, I think, the way it works. But basically you can change these steps to suit how many increments you want. But yeah, I just find either that TR3, TR2 or TR4 just seem a really good option to get this on something that's very quick, and you do get the readout there and the readout there to show you, so it's not a surprise when you pull trigger and it's only doing 25% when it says 25%. If you wanted to, you could set the exact same thing up for the back, and that would give you a control of the braking as well. So if you not only wanted to control the actual throttle and you wanted to go TR2, and then you go to back rate, and then we come out and we change that to 25. So if you wanted to set it up like that, then we can also now change the brake rate down. So if you want your throttle on 50 and your brake on 50, you can. If you want your brake on 25, you can. Brake on 75, throttle on 50. Really up to you. But yeah, it's a good way of basically dumbing down the RC for less experienced users and just chuck them the controller, I just find this is more use than setting up beginner mode. Beginner mode just kind of dumbs everything, and I really don't think you're ever going to want to dumb the steering or really the brake. You're not going to want to drop the brake down too much because you want the RC to be able to stop. But yeah, it's just a really nice way of being able to set these up. If I was setting it up for a race RC and I was using the rate to control the RC for racing, I'd probably go for one of the more granular approaches, especially on like throttle or steering rate. I'd go for one of the more granular ones so you can drop the rates down as you're getting used to the track or as the grip comes up. If you're wanting it more as a training aid for younger or inexperienced sort of RC drivers, then I think this way of setting it up gives you nice steps, something that you're used to on, say, the Armour RTR transmitters, where you can just drop the percentage of the power down, and you've got an idea that 50% is probably going to be around 50% speed if your ESC and everything's calibrated right. But hopefully that makes a lot of sense and it's easy enough to follow. But yeah, let's wrap this one up. So there you have it, the Flysky G11P and your 25, 50, 75 and 100% throttle switching. Whether you'd want to use the little rocker or one of these to control it, entirely up to you. Or if you want it more granular, use one of these or use the dial right at the very top. But yeah, it's plenty of options of how to do it. Technically, you could set up separate switches using mixers to do it, but I wouldn't go down that route. It's not really going to be any advantage over doing it this way at all. You're just going to end up with more buttons used and more mixers used that you may want to use on other things. But yeah, thanks again for watching Wtf Rc Cars. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, share to friends and family, and catch you guys again in the next one.